Yankees Passion Podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Yankees Passion Podcast. This is episode 13, and we're coming at you right after the Yankees played the Red Sox this weekend and completed the 4-game sweep. Very, very, very excited about that. But, I'm going to go to the negative parts first because I always like ending on a positive side. So let's get the negatives out of the way. We definitely had some unfortunate injuries over the weekend, which pretty much has been the story of this team all year from day one, even before day one. Everybody's been getting injured, and it's kind of mind-boggling, like that nothing has been done or at least being looked at or anything like that. I mean, I've been saying it since pretty much April or May when we first had 15 people on the IL. And why? How are the strength and conditioning coaches not being looked at this point? I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous, the amount of injuries, and still we are now in August and we still have about 15 people on the IL. I mean, it's fucking amazing. Thankfully, though, I think a lot of it has to do with the situation that we're in. That we're in first place by a great amount of games. I think if it was kind of like we were losing a lot of games and we're not in first place, we're in third or whatever it may be. If the situation was flipped, I think there would be a lot more being done. I think that has a lot to do with the situation that we actually are in. The fortunate situation. And let me tell you, if we do end up going all the way and winning the World Series this year, everybody, you have to buy like the whatever they make, the DVD, Blu-ray, whatever the fuck it is that they make about the year the Yankees, when the team that wins the World Series. I mean, it's absolutely amazing if we win with the amount of injuries we've had to deal with this year. So, yeah. That's just amazing that we're even in this situation. Now, that being said, like I said, we've had some injuries this weekend. First, let's start with Edwin Encarnacion. That one was unfortunate. Can't blame anybody on that. I got that. He was hit on the wrist with a pitch, and it was really, even if when you watched it, I mean, it was right on the freaking wrist. I mean, it's dead spot on. And I think when they even zoomed in, I already saw it starting to inflame, or at least that's what it looked like to me. And of course, the news was that it was a fractured wrist, so that's definitely going to sideline him for a while. They saying like 3 to 4 or something like that, or I think it's going to be way longer. I'm hoping not, but that's a nice power bat to have in there. And he was actually just doing pretty good for us too. He was starting to heat up. He was getting a lot of those clutch hits, and it's unfortunate right when he starts warming up that he has to go back on the IL. Another guy in the IL. Of course, we had Luke Voigt that also got hurt. I believe that was in the series before, though, which I'll kind of go into what the next injury is because it kind of almost scared the hell out of me that it's the same. And it still kind of does because we don't have any information on it back yet. But Gleyber Torres left the game yesterday after an injury. He was removed from Sunday's victory with what they described as a core issue. And that's pretty much what Luke Voigt looked like he was dealing with, was a core issue. So I'm really hoping that it's not to the same extent. I'm hoping it's just maybe, I don't know, he just twisted it a little bit awkwardly or whatever it may be. I mean, the thing is that he is traveling to Baltimore, or not. They said he's expected to be with the club in Baltimore starting today, but I highly doubt he's going to play, at least I hope, because everybody knows Gleyber loves playing in Camden Yards, man. That fucking guy can hit in that yard like nobody else. So it's going to be really unfortunate if he ends up missing a substantial amount of time. Hopefully not. But like I said, he's going to the hospital for scans and everything like that, and so far nothing has been brought back yet. So who knows what's going on with Gleyber. I hope it's, man, especially after this series, he has been amazing. And it would be absolutely horrible if we lose him. I mean, it's just amazing the amount of injuries. Of course, Aaron Hicks, another man that's out with an injury. That's one that, like, I don't know. I mean, I understand it was him throwing the third, that it tweaked his elbow, and they do say Tommy John surgery is ruled out. So that's good, I guess. But they did say it wasn't anything as serious as they expected. It's just a right flexor strain. It wasn't anything, teared or anything too serious. So hopefully he'll be back. But the thing with Aaron Hicks, man, it's becoming very old with his injuries. He gets injured at least, like I'm telling you, since we've gotten him, I think he's been injured at least like 2 to 3 times a year. I mean, it just feels that way. And it sucks because I really do like the guy. He's made, especially a couple of weeks ago, he won us a bunch of games. He kept us in the game with Minnesota. He got that clutch hit in Tampa. So I mean, he and his arm is great in center field when he doesn't hurt it. So listen, I would love him to stay. But it's just like it's getting so old every year. Another fucking injury with Aaron Hicks. It's like, come on, man. But hopefully that's not going to be too long. So yeah, I mean we're Gio. Thankfully, that at bat was absolutely insane. So if anybody didn't see, so Urshela fouls a ball off of his. I thought almost was on the side of his knee. Thankfully, I think it was a little bit higher. So he was okay with that. The very next pitch, he fouls it off of his other leg. Pretty much on his shin of the other leg. And at first, when it was so fast, you're thinking, at least I was thinking like, oh my God, don't tell me he hit the same exact leg in the same spot again. But, after the replay and they showed it in slow motion, it was obviously off the opposite foot. So, man, if we lose Gio, that's terrible. But supposedly the good thing is that he feels great. He feels better than he felt during the game. That he said there's just a little swelling, but he'll be okay. They did do x-rays with Gio Urshela, and they did come back negative, so that's good news in that situation. Hopefully, I mean, we're getting to this point now where we're getting closer and closer to the end road. August is going to be gone, then you get into September, and before you know it, it's playoff time. So we really need to have as many guys as possible back from the injured list or not go on the injured list. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous how many fucking injuries we have. Can somebody take a look at the people that train these guys? I don't know if it's that they're doing too much lifting, or I don't know what the fuck it is, but somebody's doing something wrong. Okay, you have to blame some of this on the strength and conditioning. Their job is literally to get their bodies physically ready to play a 162 plus game season. That is what their job is. Literally. So I don't understand why the fuck they're not looking at this a little bit deeper. You have to at this point. But anyway, that being said with the injuries, that's pretty much really the only negatives out of this weekend. This weekend was really, really fun to watch. As a Yankee fan, it was very enjoyable, very exciting. Very intense and very rewarding, because after last week when they went to Boston, I mean, it just felt like this team was starting to slowly crumble and collapse, and you're feeling, the pessimist in me is like, oh man, this is gonna be the down spiral right here. We're fucked now, and that's the quick thinking pessimist in me that's just like, oh man, that's it. Season's slowly coming to an end, and hopefully we'll even be in a playoff. But like, that's how crazy I was thinking. It just looked terrible when you get beat that badly, 19-3 or whatever it was, by the fucking rival. You're just like, come on, man, really? But listen, that was the negatives. I'm gonna get into the positives right now. It was a great weekend. We had Friday, where I believe we won 4-2, thanks to Gleyber Torres again with his grand slam that put us ahead. We were down 2-0, and then we had that Gleyber Torres grand slam that closed the door. Herman fucking pitched great. He came in and shut the fucking door, which was that was the thing too, is that after trade deadline, We really needed to see that from our starting pitching this weekend. Our starting pitching actually was great. They did their fucking job. They came in and pretty much reminded us, like, hey, when we actually pitch good, we can be a competitive starting pitching staff as well. Now, of course, you have CC that was hurt. Tanaka is one of those where he started off great in that start, and then towards the end he started leaving a little bit, a few balls up a little, and that he had the splitter working pretty fucking well, man. And I don't know what happened after that. The splitter started to kind of float. But he pitches tonight, so let's see if he kind of worked that out, because that's one guy. I mean, listen, if the playoffs start tomorrow, he's the guy that's starting game one. I'm telling you right now. So I'm really hoping that he figures that out, and sooner rather than later, so we can get this going and be confident going into the playoffs for once. Even the last couple of years going into the playoffs, we were not confident. We're like, fuck, we're in a wild card game yet again. And we have to play these teams yet again. I hate one-game fucking playoffs. It's too scary. And not only that, but then if you make it, then you have to play the divisional series and you don't get home field advantage. So you have to beat them at their fucking ballpark. I mean, it's like we've literally had the underdog in every year. So it would be nice for once to go into the playoffs with, home field advantage, not having to play that stupid wild card game and be able to kind of like breathe a little bit. And although at the same time I still need the urgency, because I don't want to feel like we're too comfortable. But anyway, we had a great then we had the doubleheader Saturday, and oh man, the way we beat Chris Sale yet again. Chris Sale is not having a great season, especially against us. He is getting destroyed, and he does not. And all they do is complain about the strike zone. That's one thing with Boston that pisses me off. When the Yankees got rocked last week in Fenway, you didn't see people bitching, making excuses. They were pissed at the Yankees for playing like shit, plain and simple. That's the end of the story. We weren't making excuses. We said we fucking sucked that weekend. Over here, it's like you got fucking Alex Cora talking shit. Oh, the umpire with this balls and strikes, and that takes us out of the game. Blah 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 blah. Fuck you, man. You still gotta throw the ball. Fuck you. We still hit the fucking ball. Fuck you. Stop making excuses. You guys are not as good as us this year. Simple as that. They are now, 15 games, 16 games in the loss column now? I believe it's 16. We have 39 losses. They have 55 or some shit like that. So they're out. I mean, and not only that, but I think in the wild card, I think now they're back like 9 games in the wild card. That's fucking insane. And you're going to blame that on a few bad calls? No, your team is not good this year. It's just not as good. Plain and fucking simple. This is our year, and we showed them this weekend that this is our year. That last week was a fluke, and this is the real team that you're going to have to deal with. Now, what I wanted to do... let me go ahead and do this. I wanted to show you the... Let me see here. We had such a great game yesterday. It was kind of a little nerve-wracking because I'm like, I hope we can just close this out. I don't want them, especially when you have the opportunity to get that sweep. Judge finally came through with his first home run in 14 games. That was huge. So let's see what he did here. Like I said, this podcast, this episode is not going to be as long as the other ones. My voice is actually kind of hurting from yesterday from screaming at the game, so it's not at 100%. So let's start off with Judge's solo home run and check this out, because he had 0 home runs in the last 14 games. I'm still waiting for him to pull one, but he's starting to get it slowly but surely. He's getting there. So let's take a listen to this, and here's Judge's solo home run. Give me 1 second. Oh my God. Tell me they're going to give me an ad. Of course they're going to give me an ad. Oh, you got to love advertisements. But anyway, yeah, so Judge was 0 for 14 in games without a home run, which is very unlike him. And who better to get that streak snapped than Boston? That's exactly what I was waiting to see. So here we go. Now we're ready to go. And here's the call for Judge's solo shot. in the bottom of the first inning against our man, David Price.
2-2 is hit in the air to deep right. It is high. It is far. It is gone. Aaron Judge, a Judgian blast. Deep in the seats in right center. All rise. Here comes the Judge.
And that's a Judge home run. That's what he needs to do. The distance is 389 feet. And when Aaron Judge has that swing to the right and right center field bleachers, that's where his power is, and that's tremendous to see Aaron Judge be able to do that. That pitch stayed up. It was about belt high. Not exactly fastball in, but it stays up for him, doesn't get in, and he just meets it, goes the opposite way with it. That's his power right there.
And that ball went over the grandstand and into the bleachers. That's a pretty good wallop. Yankees with a 1-0 lead on Judge, 12th home run of the year, 29th RBI.
So there you go. That was Judge's solo home run. That big blast. Thanks. Oh man, that John Sterling is amazing. I love the way he calls home runs. But that started off the game very nice for us. We had that quick 1-zip lead going into the game to hopefully sweep, which we did. So that was huge. Put us in the right direction for sure. And then, of course, with that third inning was just absolutely beautiful. Listen, David Price, I know, was going into that game thinking, oh, man, Gary Sanchez isn't in this lineup. Maybe I'll actually have somewhat of a decent start against these guys because now I don't have to deal with Gary Sanchez. Well, guess what? That didn't fucking work whatsoever. Yankees came in the third inning and absolutely destroyed him and fucking got him out of the game in the third inning and continued to pile on. I think another run afterwards, but man, what an inning! And it just shows that this team, when this team is seeing the ball well, when this team is seeing everything correct, man, they could do a lot of good things. Sorry about that. That was a mistake on my end. But anyway, yeah, here we go. This is where the Yankees got the big third inning against David Price.
One. Swung on and hit in the air to deep left center. It is high. It is far. It is gone. It is a 2-run home run in the visitors' bullpen for Gio Urshela. Gio Urshela, the most happy fella. Oh, he's the most happy fella. He hits a 2-run dinger to left. And the Yankees take a 3-0 lead.
And another changeup, and that was the second time he's thrown 2 changeups in a row and gotten burnt on it. That's what Higashioka hit for the double that didn't come around to score. And this time Urshela was ready for it.
Urshela's 12th home run. He now has 51 RBIs. Swung on and ripped to deep left center field. Benintendi going back, way back in left center. It is off the left center field bullpen wall. Gardner has scored. Maben to second with a double. He just didn't high enough to get it out. It banged off basically the base of the bullpen wall. Another long shot. So the ribby double by Maben, and the Yankees take a 4-0 lead. Swung on and line, base hit, right center field. Maben rounds third, he scores. Mike Ford contributes. Called up today, bang! He belts a ribby single to right center. And the Yankees have scored 4 in the inning. They have a 5-0 lead.
You know, it's just amazing to me. Yesterday it's Breivik Valera. Today it's Mike Ford. There is something, and they can talk about the next man up, and it's a great slogan to have, and we've seen it in other teams. But to do it, it's everybody. Darwin's and Hernandez is up in the Red Sox bullpen.
Ground ball in the hole. That's a base hit to right field. Ford scores. Higashioka scores. It is a 2-run base hit for Mike Tauchman. And the Yankees have scored 6 in the inning, and they have a 7-0 lead. I mean, who would have thunk it? I mean, you look at the lineups, who would have thunk it? All the young guys from Scranton are hitting.
So, yeah, there we go, guys, man. And you know what? Not for nothing, that kind of reminded me also about the other two guys. Like, Mike Ford with the big hit there, and Mike Tauchman's been heating up. He got a couple of runs yesterday to make it a 6-4 victory at last night's game. That was a clutch hit, man. I think that was like in the 7th or 8th inning with 2 men on and 2 outs. So Talkman's looking great, and then of course that kid we got, that second baseman, kept his composure with bases loaded. He got an RBI single, a couple of RBIs the other day. What the hell was his name? Brevik, something like that. But man, like, that's the thing. We have such depth that, like, our guys that aren't even, they're filling in for other guys, and they're coming up here ready to go. They're coming up and contributing against our rival. That's fantastic. So that's why I mean, if the Yankees win this World Series, this is gonna be the most earned World Series ever, because they literally earned it. Like no other team. There's teams that, like, yeah, you know, they have such an overpowering team that it was just, you know, it was bound to happen. This is a team that, yes, is very, you know, overpowering, but at the same time, we lost a lot of main guys, and for us to be able to have performances like that are absolutely fucking phenomenal. A lot of teams, you lose your ace, that's it, the season's over, and that's one player. If you lose your ace, it's like, that's it. The season's done. I mean, we've lost aces, we've lost 15 fucking players pretty much all year. We've had at least almost 15 players on the IL all year. From big guys, too. Like, not just, like, little people getting hurt. This is, like, Didi was hurt for a while. We still have people hurt. So, it's absolutely amazing, and it was a great weekend, especially after the trade deadline and the way that things looked last week. For it to just kind of turn around that quick, for us to take a 4-game sweep to the Boston Red Sox, especially after what they did, was a huge plus. And now we go into Baltimore feeling pretty damn good about where we're at. And listen, this is a team, Baltimore, that we should beat. I know that they've been giving people hard times here and there, but this is a team we need to beat. One thing about the Yankees last year and even the year before is that for some reason when they go in and play these horrible teams or teams with bad records, they come in and look like a completely different team. They look like shit. And the Yankees lose a lot of those games. So I'm hoping that after that 4-game sweep, the Yankees are a little bit more prepared. Hopefully Glaber's not hurt too long. We'll see what goes on throughout the day. What's the lineup? They haven't been released yet, but let's see what happens. We got Tanaka starting on the mound tonight, so that's another thing to look out for. But listen, I feel great about this team. I think what this 4-game series showed more than anything is that, look, if our starting pitching can actually perform and give us 5 to 6 innings, and our bullpen can come in, we may have a shot to take on, like, the Houston Astros. Our offense is that deep that I think we can hit good pitching, and if our starting pitching can keep us in games, just get us through 5. If you get us through 6, even better. But if you can get us through 5 innings, that would be fucking fantastic. And I think that if we could do that consistently, especially in the playoffs, we'll be in great shape. I think we'll be in great shape. We got to see Tanaka do a little bit better. Paxton looked great over the weekend. Even though he loves to give up those early runs, but listen, hey, he shut him down after, and that's what counts. He could have, after giving up those 2 runs, he could have been like, oh, here we go again, and kind of gotten rattled and started throwing all over the place. But no, he kept his composure. He said, fuck this, I'm coming in and I'm going to attack these guys, and they're going to think that I'm going to be nervous to throw the ball in the strike zone, and I'm just going to pound the zone and get outs. And that's exactly what he did. So, in that sense, great job by James Paxton. Great job by starting pitching. Great job by Domingo Germán. Great job by everybody. Everybody on the team. Just excellent fucking job. I have no complaints. That's what we got to do against these Red Sox. We got 4 more games left with them. We have 2 games left with Tampa. All right, so we're looking pretty good. We got to make sure we win these other games again. I think we still have a lot of games with Toronto left, which is, these are teams that we really should be able to beat. So if we can just keep our heads in the game, we can get a nice lead here. We can get a nice lead. We only have 6 more games between the Red Sox and the Rays for the rest of the season, and a lot of games left with the Blue Jays. I'm not sure about the Baltimore Orioles, but I know Blue Jays, we have a lot of games left, so we should be in pretty good shape. Anyway, guys, like I said, this is not going to be the longer podcast like the other ones. I'm going to go ahead and head on out for this one. getting ready for tonight's series with the Baltimore Orioles. Yankees sweeping Boston Red Sox, looking great. We got Boston. Let's see what's the standings right now. Let's before I go, let me just make sure of the standings. I'm pretty sure there's 16 in the loss column, but let me just double check here. Okay, so we got 10 and game in the games back category. We got Tampa back by 8 games, although in the loss column they're back by 9, which really is what counts. Boston's back by 14.5 games, but they're back by, let me see, that's 16 games in the loss column, so that's fucking fantastic. That's phenomenal. And of course, you know, look at these leaders in batting average. DJ LeMahieu with a 335 runs scored. DJ LeMahieu 77 runs. Runs batted in. DJ LeMahieu 75 ribbies. Brett Gardner actually has 9 stolen bases on the year. I didn't even realize that. Gary Sanchez is still the leader in home runs with 24, but I didn't I could have sworn that there was somebody with 30 on the team, but I could be wrong. But anyway. Listen, we're in the stretch here. August, September, that's it, baby. We got to get this going. We got 2 months left of season baseball, then it's playoff time, and I'm excited. I'm very excited for this team. Let's go Yankees. Let's get this series against Baltimore today, and let's fucking get a World Series ring, baby. We need another one. I don't want to have a decade with no fucking World Series ring. Not acceptable. We got to win this year. Let's do it. Number 28 coming at you. See you guys. Yankees Passion Podcast. Remember, check me out on YouTube, Facebook especially. I'm always doing live streams there of the game day. I usually do a 3-inning live stream. Of me recording the actual game, and then of course with my commentary over it. That people seem to love that. So check that out on Facebook. Yankees Passion Podcast, where all platforms, Spotify as well. But anyway, guys, take it easy, and I'll come at you for episode 14, probably on Thursday, I believe. Anyway, take it easy, guys. See ya!